Hey, YTPC New Jersey Piper Ben here. Got my Blakemar Canadian. Lovely little pipe. I'm doing another bowl of the Smokingpipes 20th anniversary Dark Flake. Just got it lit. Still got that spicy retro. It's good though. Again, the non-dark version of this, had some of that yesterday. Did a quick video. Stuff's really, really good. Now, just to clarify, somebody was questioning the cinnamon honey thing. That was just something somebody commented on. I can't verify because tobacco reviews, saying basically no flavoring detected on that. Now, that's not to say the tobacco itself isn't going to impart some potential sweetness and some potential flavors on their own. You know how they say, certain Virginias have a citrusy sort of flavor and aroma. So that's going to happen. So yeah, I'm not saying, definitely didn't see any or notice any cinnamony type flavors. The honey was really just, whether or not that was planted in my head or not. So it was kind of confirmation bias type of thing. I don't know. But there's a definite sweetness to that blend that's prevalent, but very nice. Very good. So it's not an aromatic. Absolutely not an aromatic. I don't want to confuse anything. But the tobacco itself, whatever combination of things happen there, there's a nice sweetness to that blend. It's really good, really good. Just a second. So, movies. I keep a list on my phone of movies that I want to watch. It could be new movies, it could be old movies, it could be anything I come across that sparks my interest. A lot of the things I put on there are from a website called AVS Forum. It's a forum that focuses on home theater technology, speakers, TVs, but it also focuses on media, Blu-rays, things like that. And then there's a smaller section where people go and review movies. They review new movies, but there's a section where people can review older movies as well. And there's a particular contributor on that site that does a lot of older movie reviews. So I get a lot of recommendations from him because he tends to review stuff that's not as well known. So movies that may have slipped under the radar a bit, but are still really good movies that people should check out. Anyway, I kind of watched one of those movies last night. It's a movie from 1951, directed by Nicholas Ray, starring Humphrey Bogart and Gloria Graham, amongst others. But they're the two main players in the movie. The movie's called In a Lonely Place. Now, just a note on Nicholas Ray. Not a sort of typical Hollywood director. Probably most well known for this movie and Rebel Without a Cause, James Dean movie. but you'll get a theme, at least from those two, if you've seen those two movies. Somebody that doesn't shy away from dark material, more serious subject matter, and does not make typical Hollywood easily digestible stuff. Basically, that was the type of guy he was even back in the 50s, when, you know, people were kind of making the same movie over and over again with slightly different plots and, you know, some of the same actors over and over again. And there's an indictment of that in A Lonely Place. There's an early bar scene. Humphrey Bogart plays a screenwriter, or basically a writer that writes scripts for movies. And some guy was basically giving him shit like, hey, you haven't done anything worthwhile in a long time. And Humphrey Bogart gets pissed off, and he's like, basically, I can't remember everything that precedes this line, but he basically ends up yelling, "You're a popcorn salesman." I just love that so much. So to mention too, I love Humphrey Bogart. I've seen most of his movies, not all of them, but I've seen most of them, and the guy never, never turned in a lackluster performance in his career, and obviously somebody that was taken from us too soon. But this is definitely a more somber role for him, a more serious role, dealing with some pretty dark subject matter. But a great movie. And to mention too, Gloria Graham. So she was, I don't think she was a lead, but she was in It's a Wonderful Life and a couple of other well-known movies back in the day. But she kind of went away for a while. She didn't star in much until like she kind of popped up again in the 70s, and I don't know what happened there, but yeah, I just wanted to mention, as awesome as Humphrey Bogart is, and Gloria Graham kind of stole that movie in a lot of ways. She was just magnificent. I mean, she kept up, punch for punch with Bogart in that movie. And, yeah, it was just awesome. But, oh yeah, I did want to mention too, if anybody has Roku, I love Roku because you can search for a movie and it'll basically tell you everywhere that you could stream it and how much it costs. So most everything I was searching for last night was popping up like available to rent on Prime or Apple or whatever for $2.99 or $3.99. But this one came up for free on this app called TV Time Feature Films, I think is what it was called. Never heard of that app before. I don't know how long it's been around, but I watched it and it said HD, but the quality was pretty crappy, Now I know Criterion released this movie in Blu-ray, so I'm sure, definitely not that version of it, not that remastered Criterion version for sure, but it was passable. It was enough to watch it without being, too distracted by the quality. And there were some Hitchcock movies on that app. I didn't look into it too much, but there were some Hitchcock movies. Yeah, it was a weird app. Very basic looking, like it's been around for like 10 minutes or something. But free's free. And no ads, which surprised me too. I was assuming it was going to play ads every 20 minutes, but it didn't. It was completely ad free, so that was nice too. The Dark Flake. Good, but not as good as the regular. Still, my conclusion remains the same on this one. Glad I have it, but I'm really much more glad I have more of the regular. I have just as much as both, but I wish I'd bought more of the regular and less of this, but yeah, what are you gonna do? So, any old movie fans out there? Any Humphrey Bogart fans? Extra credit for anybody that can tell me their favorite Gloria Graham performance. But if you haven't seen In a Lonely Place, then I would highly suggest that she was pretty special in that movie. And it's one of those movies it's been on my radar for a long time. Like, I've had that DVD on my wish list forever. Long since that DVD's been discontinued, and since Criterion released it, luckily. God bless Criterion, by the way. Talk about getting in, like, YouTube rabbit holes. There's a series where different people, actors, directors, whatever, basically they're visiting Criterion for whatever reason, and they can go in Criterion's closet that has all their past releases on a shelf, and Criterion gives them a bag, and they're just like, you can take whatever you want to, but let us shoot a video of you talking about the stuff you're taking and why you're taking it. I've been loving watching those. But Criterion does some fantastic work with releases, and they keep a lot of lesser known movies sort of alive and in the public consciousness. A lot of world cinema, again, stuff that you wouldn't normally be exposed to. Criterion is sort of the voice for that type of stuff, and I mean, you could spend the rest of your life exploring their catalog and, you know, barely scratch the surface. I don't have enough time to watch nearly as much stuff as I want to watch, but I would just love to get in that closet and just grab some stuff and, you know, win the lottery and buy an amazing home theater system and just watch those movies for 6 straight or something. But yeah. Okay, guys, take care. Hope you had a great weekend.